Hi there, Charles Dailey from iLoan. I wanted to record a video supplement to expand on what's been written about buying a home after a short sale. Depending on the circumstances of that short sale, whether there were lates on the mortgage or installment debt or things like that, there's all kinds of different waiting periods that apply. But I want to focus on one particular circumstance with one particular waiting period, and that is where there are no lates on the mortgage and no lates on the installment debt throughout the entire short sale process. Now, in the event that that happens, it is permissible under certain circumstances, which we'll go into, to buy without a waiting period using FHA financing. In other words, you can buy the very next day. But there are some caveats to this that I want to go through in depth. One of them has to do, well, here's the guideline word for word. Borrowers are not eligible for a new FHA mortgage if they pursued a short sale agreement on his or her principal residence simply to take advantage of declining market conditions and purchase at a reduced price a similar or superior property within a reasonable commuting distance. Now, what does that mean? That means that you cannot do all of the following four things. You can't, well, the motivation of the short sale, it can't be to take advantage of the market. And you can't also buy within a reasonable commuting distance from the property most recently sold short. And the property being purchased can't be similar or superior to the previous home. And it can't be bought at a reduced price. If all four of those things are present, that won't work. Also, if the loan that was sold short, or if the loan that was against the home that was recently sold short was FHA, also, this won't work. However, the first thing you really want to figure out is, okay, does this similar or superior rule apply? Because in some cases it doesn't. For instance, let's say that you're relocating from one area to another. For instance, in Minnesota, let's say that you're moving from Duluth to the Twin Cities, or from the Twin Cities to Rochester, or from Rochester to the St. Cloud area. Well, obviously that's outside of a reasonable commuting distance, and if that should be the case, then the similar or superior rule would not apply. Because once again, without any of those four things, if one of them's gone, then you're okay to go. So let's look at some of these other considerations. Let's say that you would be moving from a fourplex to a triplex, or a triplex to a duplex, or a duplex to a condo, or a condo to a townhome or something like that. If you're moving from one property type to another property type, which classically in underwriting, from an underwriting standpoint, might be considered to be inferior, well, that obviously is not a similar or superior purchase. Now, a good example of that would be, well, okay, if you're going from a single-family residence to a townhome, would that cut it? And in that case, yes, it would, unless it's just an immaculate townhome, and the house that was previously sold short was not, because you do have to apply an element of common sense to this. Okay, now there's certain documentation that's unique to pulling off this kind of a transaction that's not present on another transaction. For instance, you want to get like an appraisal or a copy of an old appraisal or an MLS printout from the house that was recently sold short, so that can be used to compare the elements of that home to the elements of the subject property, the one that you would be buying, to accurately compare the two. You also want to get copies of the short sale acceptance letters from the previous sale. Now, the reason for this is you want to make sure that there wasn't any exposure and isn't any exposure remaining for a deficiency judgment. Now, a deficiency judgment is where, let's say that the lender loses $50,000 in some areas, under some circumstances, they can come back and pursue the previous homeowner for a judgment. Now, let's say that they do that. They go to court, they get awarded the judgment, and they garnish wages. Well, that obviously is going to affect that person's ability to pay their mortgage. Now, that kind of a contingent liability out there will prevent this from being possible. In other words, if a home is sold short, whatever the lender received in terms of proceeds from the sale of that home needs to serve as satisfaction in full, and that needs to be documented in writing from that lender, usually in the short sale acceptance letter. Obviously, you get a HUD-1 settlement statement from the sale of your home showing the money from that transaction being dispersed. And then lastly, a strong letter of explanation. And this goes back to the intent of the short sale. FHA HUD is concerned, or was originally concerned, that this would be taken advantage of. People would try and take advantage of the marketplace and sell their homes and then buy similar homes at a reduced price. And really, a good letter of explanation is going to go a long way here. First of all, it's going to outline the hardship that you experienced that led you to do the short sale that you needed to do. And it also, for the purpose of the new loan, needs to explain why that hardship is not going to bring anything negative to bear on the performance of the new loan. So that's a brief outline, but just wanted to make sure that what's left out of some of these writings is included, and it's so much type, thought we'd just do a quick video. But if you have any questions, give us a call. Contact information's down there at the bottom, and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks so much.